Well, welcome to the story about Pretty Baby. Pretty Baby is a 1931 Model A Ford that belongs to Mr. Tom Poinsett. Tom has owned Pretty Baby for 58 years as of this presentation in 2016. Most of us don't own a car for this length of time, or just about anything for this length of time. Why Tom still has Pretty Baby was a story I wanted to uncover and share. This story is what I consider special and needs to be told. We have to go back to the 40s and 50s to start, so here we go. Tom was born and raised in Fort Wayne, Indiana, a designated All-America city. Fort Wayne was a bustling city of about 155,000 in the 50s and offered many amenities such as a strong economy, museums, festivals, sports, parks and recreation, and higher education opportunities. Tom attended North Side High School, where he developed an interest in auto mechanics and graduated in 1954. Soon after graduation, Tom got a job as an apprentice printer for a local print shop, later to work as a journeyman printer for the Fort Wayne newspapers. He also joined the Indiana Air National Guard, serving until 1963 with a one-year tour in France in 1961. While an apprentice printer, Tom picked up a part-time job at a mobile oil gas station on the south side of the city. It was while working at the gas station that Tom first saw Pretty Baby. But first we have to talk a bit about a favorite pastime for young men in the 50s, cruising and car clubs. But I'll let Tom explain. All right, Tom, another topic, a couple other topics I wanted to touch on with you was back in your day in Fort Wayne, I know that there was a lot of cruising going on, and there were certain cruising routes that guys took in Fort Wayne. Same thing happened in my hometown. Kind of tell me some of the routes that you traveled and the cruising that you did back in your day.
Well, first thing we would do would be, unless we had something special to do, we'd go down Calhoun Street both way, one way, and then turn around and come back, go the other way.
That was a major cruising street, right?
That's what you'd call cruising there at that time.
Okay.
And you'd see some of your buddies and some guys you don't know, you know.
Sure.
And of course, to be truthful with you, I guess the idea was see if you could, if there were some girls you might be able to get in the car. You know?
Right.
And so we would do that once or twice on Calhoun Street, and then we would go over to Gardner's, and you was able to go one trip around the Gardner's place, and then you had to go back out in the street, go back down a couple streets, turn around, and then you could go back around again because of the policeman there, and he wouldn't let you do that.
He wouldn't let you.
Wouldn't let you go around twice.
Now, Gardner's was from what I've learned, was a very big drive-in restaurant, right? Where all the kids would go to.
Well, that was one of them. There was one at the south side of town, but
right.
That wasn't frequently as much as the one, and also there was one north.
Okay.
And then there was Dale's. That was out on Highway 24.
Oh, all right.
But
Gardner's was the big one, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Okay. And you would go around and around Gardner's until you could find a spot.
Well, yeah. Sometimes we even ate there, you know.
Even ate there, huh?
Yeah, you know. I mean, well,
okay.
Like I say, we might go around twice and then go somewhere else for a while and come back. So
all right.
It depends on how much time we had.
Now, did you have Pretty Baby at that time when you were doing the cruising?
Well, yes and no, because like I say, I got it in 1958, and it took, I guess some of the guys I run around with is, aren't you ever going to get that thing done? So I I never went around Gardner's with my Model A. And
Oh, you didn't?
no, because
Okay.
I just didn't have it ready. By the time I had it ready, well, then
You were over
they
the
weld
past that.
that, and I guess that maybe cooled down a little bit.
Okay.
I only usually cruised around the Gardner's and down in my what I call my regular car.
Okay. All right. Now let's talk about car clubs. There were a lot of car clubs at that time, right?
Right.
And you belonged to the Grinders. Was that it?
Right. Yes.
Okay. I noticed. I think we've got a picture of Pretty Baby with a Grinders club
Yeah,
plaque.
put that on it first. Yeah.
And all the clubs had their own plaque, right?
Yes, right.
Pretty much.
I don't know how many were there, but there was quite a few of them, and
Okay.
we had a meeting maybe once a month or so.
All right.
And our club itself had like on a Saturday, the guy that owned the filling station allowed us to have like a car wash, you know.
Oh, okay.
So we made some money then.
Oh, all right. All right. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, well, so belonging to a car club was an important thing back
Right.
then, and you had to have a cool car.
Well, usually, yeah.
That helped, didn't
Yeah.
it? Yes.
But one thing that was kind of a fad, I guess, these plaques that, you know, about the size of a license plate,
Right.
we used to hang them on the back of our bumpers.
Okay.
And with chains, you know, and
Right.
every time you go up or down a bump, they'd clang, you know. We were just young, you know.
You were just kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, that was the way things were back in the day in Fort Wayne. Okay.
While working at the Mobil gas station in 1958, a young man returning to Fort Wayne from California, where he had served in the Navy, came into the station in a sharp 1931 Model A that he had driven from California home to Fort Wayne. The Model A really caught Tom's eye, so he asked if it was for sale. It was, and Tom purchased the car. With the help of a close friend and mentor, Nub Wysong, Tom and Nub rebuilt the engine, replaced the transmission, replaced brakes, and on and on. Basically replacing or rebuilding everything from the drive shaft to the front end, to include repainting in 1959. It was Nub that gave Tom's Model A the name Pretty Baby. Pretty Baby was ready for a car show. Entering car shows is always fun, and the experience can be enhanced by winning an award. Pretty Baby won trophies at the Coliseum Car Show, a major car show for the area at that time, both in 1959 and 1964. In 1963, Tom also won an even greater award. He met his wife Anita. Their first date was in Pretty Baby. Anita approved of Pretty Baby, and in May of 1964, Tom and Anita were married. In 1967, Pretty Baby went into storage as, quote, life became priority one. Pretty Baby would remain in storage until 1987. As with all of us, at some point, quote, life takes over and certain things that were once priorities now move down the list, as did Pretty Baby. About 1967, Pretty Baby went into storage and remained tucked away until 1987. In the meantime, Tom continued his printing career with the Fort Wayne newspapers, as well as with different print shops, until his retirement in 2006. Tom and Anita raised two daughters, Michelle and Kim. By 1987, it was time to unpack Pretty Baby, but all was not well. The engine had seized, which meant new valves, piston rings, and throw in a complete rewiring. But I'll let Tom explain more.
Okay, well, we're here with Tom and his Model A, pretty baby. And we're going to do a little walk around here, and Tom's going to tell us about the car. Now, Tom, I think we're going to try and pick this up around the time that you brought it out of storage. I think you told me you put it in storage about 1967, and it was in there until about 1987 or so.
That's about right.
Yeah, okay. And so what all did you have to do to her to get her roadworthy from that point on?
Well, took the engine out and the pistons are seized, so I had to put new rings on. Other than that, there was no damage.
Okay.
And there were other things that just didn't work because just sitting around.
It just setting that long that things deteriorated, huh?
Yeah.
Was the dual carburetor setup, was that something that was that already on there when you got the car?
That was on the car when I got it.
Was it? Okay.
Maybe not exactly like that, but
right.
they were come with the car.
Okay. All right. Okay. And I think I know you had done a lot of work on the car prior to the time you put it in storage. But was mainly the work you did when you brought it out, was it mainly engine related?
Yes, most of it was, yeah.
Okay.
And I think I might have had the radiator checked and stuff. So.
Okay. All right. So you got it ready, and you had already painted it, right? It had been painted, I think you said in '64 was the last time you painted it?
Well, I didn't paint it, but I had it painted.
Right, right. Okay, okay. Did you was there something special about the color here that you liked?
It was basically the same color when I bought it, and
was it?
Because of the upholstery is green, I wanted to keep it the green. And,
okay. All right.
Kind of complement each other.
Okay. Why don't you come around here and open the door so we can see the inside?
Now this was done in Tijuana.
What was?
The upholstery.
Oh, the upholstery was done in Tijuana?
The guy I bought it from, like I said, was in the Navy at San Diego.
Right.
And he went down to Tijuana, Mexico, and had whoever it was upholstery. And that's it right there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, it certainly looks like it's held up very well.
Held up very well.
Yeah, it looks like it's held up very well. Okay. All right. Did it have these Cadillac hubcaps on it?
No, they didn't.
Where did
I bought that from a guy at a filling station I hung out at, and he didn't want them. And well, when I say he didn't want them, but he was willing to sell them to me, so
okay.
I had to take the centers out because of the axle. And
yeah, I see the centers are.
I was going to get some, like they call them, I think, rubber bullets or something that in that hole, but as you see, I haven't done that yet.
Okay. All right. Well, I see you got the. You sure do have the shifters signs on it. Shifters Car Club. That's cool. All right. All right. Okay. Well, Tom, what you've had this car for pretty baby. You've had her for 58 years, right?
That's right.
And what do you think it is? Why did you want to hold on to this car so long?
Well, I guess I just liked it, you know, and it's something that you don't see every day. I mean, a lot of these other cars you don't see every day either.
Yeah.
But I guess part of the reason it said for long, had a family to raise, and you know where their money goes.
Sure, no, I understand.
I done agreed to get that, and I just didn't have the time, so that's why it set so long. And
well, I know you've told me about other cars that you've had. But all along you've kept this one. And I think you mentioned you learned a lot from working on this car, didn't you?
When I got this car, all I knew about an automobile was it usually had 4 wheels, an engine, and a steering wheel.
Okay.
That was the only experience I had at that time.
All right.
And I had a gentleman that used to race Model A cars way back when, and he was beating the V8s. And he helped me. He worked at Russ Moore's Automotive transmission shop, and he told me before I put the engine back in, he says, bring it over to me, because I had it rebabbited and all that, and he went through it and did some of his special stuff, and then he helped me with the hydraulic clutch and stuff that I had no idea what a hydraulic clutch was at the time, you know. And he helped me. He held me by my hand and told me what to do, and I used to try to do everything he told me.
Okay. So I think it's safe to say then that you developed a close relationship with this car since you learned a lot. And you've already told me, and I think we will point this out, that your first date with Anita was in this car.
Yeah, that's my wife.
And that's your wife, yes. And you were married in 1964, so this was your first date. And she used to come to the garage and watch you work on the car.
Yeah, I had my 2-car garage at my mom's place, and she came along.
She came in order to see you. She had to come out to the garage, huh?
Well, I guess that's right.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, folks, this is Pretty Baby, and this is a special car, and I think this is a special story. All right.
I would like to thank Tom Poinsett for sharing his story about Pretty Baby. Pretty Baby has been a teacher, a hobby, a good friend, and a part of his life for the past 58 years. I want to discover and tell the stories of special cars and their owner on my channel, Redbird Special Stories. I trust you will agree the story of Pretty Baby is special. Hope you enjoy.